Hi, welcome to Camp Happy Mail. Thank you for joining me today. If you have seen the other envelope stencil videos, this one's going to be very much the same, just different stencil, same variety of colors. Let me make a mess here. I am just playing. I am replenishing my stash of decorated envelopes, and I'm just making a bunch. This one. These ones were stamped and they were colored with Copic markers, which is normally what I do. And then I stenciled these ones, and I'm just really having a good time. I have a lot of stencils that don't really get enough love, so I'm just pulling out all my stencils and I am decorating envelopes, and that's what I'm doing. And it's fun and it's easy, and I think everybody should decorate their envelopes. Do you decorate your envelopes? If you do, how do you decorate them? And if you don't, why not? You don't know how? Well, let me show you. So I've got a stencil. This is from Simon Says Stamp, and it is the Diamond Circles stencil. It is a 6x6 stencil, even though the edges of it, the whole stencil is 6x6, so it doesn't really work that great on an envelope because it's going to leave a white border. But I have, after using a Brutus Monroe one that had the same thing, I figured out a way to fix that. So let me show you. So we need to put something down in the centerpiece so that we have a place to write the address. So a little bit of Simon Says repositionable adhesive. We're just going to put this down, and I'm using a circle because we've got circles. And we're just going to put this down kind of in the middle. And then I have this piece that I've been using on all of the cards, all of the stenciled envelopes. So we're just going to put this up in the corner, and I'm going to try to get it straight this time. I think that'll work, maybe. Okay, and then we're going to put our stencil down. So as I said, the stencil is not going to go edge to edge. We're going to have a little bit of a white border. And I had this happen on one of these other ones. See, a lot of the stencils will go edge to edge because they're big enough to do this, but there are some that don't. And where is that envelope? There it is. So this one did not go edge to edge. So I had a white border here and here. So I created a white border on the top and the bottom, and we're going to do the same on this one. A little bit of mint tape. And I guess I need this to be a little bit straighter. This is the grip map. This is out of my stamp wheel. Sadly, pink ink and red ink will stain photopolymer, which is quite the bummer because now the mat looks messy. And I hate when my stuff looks messy. But it is what it is. It still works the same. So we're going to go ahead and tape this down. Oh, and we're going to come up over the edge of the card a little bit so that we have that little bit of a white border. So it'll match the two sides. Same thing here. We're just going to put this down over a little bit of the edge. Okay, and now we're going to stencil this. So what colors should we use today? I'm thinking maybe these ones. It's such a tough choice. I could do all rainbow colors like I did the other ones. My Pouncer is a little wet. I had to wash this after the last one that I did because I got some blue on it and some green on it, and when I washed it, it turned out pink, which is really weird, but it's still a little damp, and I don't know if that will affect my ink pad or not. So I think I'm going to stay away from yellow on this one. I think we'll just do these colors. Yeah. So, so let me think. So if I did, well, all of these colors will blend together just fine. So it's not going to really matter which way we do this in. So I think we're just going to be random about it. I'm going to clean off the ink because I think I used this in the blue one last. So let's just do And this is all just very random. I'm just picking circles to blot the ink into. And let's come down and do this one. I could have planned this out and picked different ones to do a pattern, but I didn't, so we're just gonna go with whatever happens here. So let's go here. Okay, so let's clean off the aqua. And let's do some blue, which I'm gonna use the same thing for that. So what if we do the blue in here? And then a blue in here. And these are overlapping because of the way that the stencil is made. And that's kind of cool. Some blue. And how about some blue over here? Some blue up here. Okay, so how about some purple now? A little bit of purple. If we do some purple over here. Yeah, I probably should have planned this out with some kind of pattern. So I might actually have to add another color into this to make it work. So if I do purple here, and then do purple here, and we'll do purple there. Okay, so let's add some pink in. So let's do some pink right here. And some pink in here. Yeah, I'm gonna need to add another color in here to make this work. And we can do some pink over here. And some pink in here. And how about some pink here? So now I got these, but because I've used all the colors, I need to put a different color in those ones. So how about we do that lime green? Do some lime green. Some lime green in this one. And some lime green in that one. Okay, and did we get all the spots? It appears we did, although let's do this. So we can get down in those edges. Okay, it's an interesting color combination. All right, so see, it was just that simple. And we have a decorated envelope. Whoops, that's the teal. It doesn't really take a lot to do this, as you can see. And you can pick whatever colors you want. You just got to be careful that when you mix them together that you don't end up with mud. We've got some dark areas that are overlapping in these, and I think it's going to be okay. So let me pull over a piece of parchment paper because, of course, we're going to do something else with this. So let's just move this over Let's take our tape off. All right, and now we'll lift the stencil off. And I'm just gonna set the stencil aside over here. The stencil is super pretty. Okay, and then before I remove these off, I'm gonna take a pen and I'm gonna draw around the circle and around the corners of that box so that we can highlight where the addresses will be. And these are super simple. I mean, you saw how quickly this came together. So why not decorate an envelope? You know, I mean, it's super easy. Doesn't take much time. And if you do what I'm going to do after I finish this, after I finish this envelope, then you'll have the pieces to create something else. Okay, so let's take these pieces off. There's a return address field. There is our address field. And we're going to save this because I'll use this on the back of the envelope. And then we've got some repositionable adhesive that we're going to just erase out of the center so that we can write in there. And that's our envelope. Look how pretty that came out. So much different than the other ones because it's not the full spectrum of the rainbow. But I really like how it came out. The colors kind of have a jewel tone look to them and it's really, really pretty. So we're gonna set this one aside. Now, if you're done for the day, if you need to go, you are more than welcome to go. I appreciate that you stuck around this long. But if you want to stick around and see what I'm going to do with this, I'm not actually going to make a card out of this today, but I'm going to do the prep work for it. And we are going to use the ink on this. So this is the envelope for today. And if you're leaving, bye. We'll see you in the next one, I hope. If you're sticking around, then grab a beverage and we'll continue on. Okay, so if you decided to stick around for this part, we should just call this, you know, the after show. Because I'm not actually going to make a card out of this, but I'm going to make some pieces to use later on some cards, and that will be another video. And in that video, I will link back to this video so that if you want a refresher to see how this was made or how these backgrounds are made, then you'll have that. But for now, so we've got the ink that's on here, and I've got a couple of pieces of watercolor paper. This is 140-pound Canson watercolor paper. I buy it in bulk from Amazon. So we're just gonna take, and we're gonna, you know what? We're gonna spray this down, but I'm gonna spray it down with some water that's mixed with Perfect Pearl so that it has a shimmer to it. I think these will be big enough. Yeah. So basically, I just want to get the colors moving on this. We are rehydrating them. And I'm going to try something different this time. I am going to soak this paper down before I lay it down on top of this, just to give it an easier time soaking in those colors. And that is really drippy. So now I'm going to put this down on here. I'm going to fold my parchment paper over and carefully press that down. Now, I'm going to shut off the camera for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to put something heavy on this, and then we'll come back and we'll see what we got. Okay, we are back. This has been sitting for a good 10 minutes or so with some heavy stuff on top of it. So I'm going to flip this over. We may end up with just mud from this, looking at this, but I don't know. Okay, so let me move some of this stuff back, and we're gonna lift this up. Wow, okay. Before I lift up the stencil off of this, I'm gonna take this and put down over top of it and see if we can pull a reverse print off of it. I can tell that that was all really muddy over there. So we should have a print and a reverse print, or a reverse print and a print. It's a reverse print and a print, I think. All right, so let's see what this one looks like. Okay, it's not bad. That's some really dark colors. Okay, so that's what we have. So I'm going to take this over and let this one dry, and then we'll pull this one. Let's go ahead and pull the stencil up off of this one. And I probably should have blotted off the stencil before I did that. Okay, that's still really pretty. It's a little muddier than I thought it was going to be, but it's still very pretty, and I think we'll be able to do something with that. And I think this is probably done. It's looking pretty murky gray, so I think we're just gonna call it done at that. So thank you for hanging out for this little bit extra with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.